Well, that's a wrap on 2022. A year ago, people told me it couldn't be done. They said that if you want to create quality podcasts, if you want to create quality content, it has to be done in a studio. It has to be a sterile environment. Sound has to be perfect. There can't be any distractions. That didn't make any sense to me. Great organizations and great leaders aren't built in a vacuum. They're not built in a sterile environment with no noise around them. The Jedburghs of World War II didn't sit in an operations center and win the war from a desk. Leaders have to get out in the environment. They have to get their hands dirty. They have to see what's going on. They have to immerse themselves in the environment, understand what's going on at the foundational level, see it with their own eyes, and then make decisions to drive themselves and their organizations forward day in and day out. That's what we're doing on the Jedburgh podcast. 65 episodes, 12 US cities, a number of remote recordings, including guests from London, Paris, and Switzerland. Let's take a look at where we've been. We went to a locker manufacturing facility in Dallas. We've been to Long Island a couple of times, not only to work out, but also on a sailboat. We celebrated our 1-year anniversary in Denver. We worked out in San Francisco. Everyone remembers Jacksonville and Sandlot Jacks, the first annual Go Ruck Games, 12 episodes in the back of a World War II Land Rover Defender. We'll be back again in 2023. We went to Boston a number of times, including the Boston University Boathouse, where I've put blood, sweat, and tears into that building and on that Charles River. Plus, we got to go to the Boston Fire Department's newest firehouse in Jamaica Plain. Podfest in Orlando. We went to Minneapolis to see the handoff from the Special Olympics 2022 games to the 2026 games. And we met with the king of fake news, Scott Dickers, the Global Security Trade Show in Atlanta. We wrote songs about our lives in Cleveland. I traveled back to the home of U.S. Army Special Forces in the Green Berets, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And let's not forget all the episodes we did in New York City, including the debut of our 1944 Dodge WC-51 on the red carpet of the Veterans Day Parade. People ask me all the time, what's my favorite? I can't answer that question. I don't have a favorite. They're all my favorite. When I started this journey of the Jedburgh podcast, when I came up with the idea 2 years ago now, I said it wasn't about episode 10 or 50 or 100. It's about episode 200, 500, 1,000. My goal with the Jedburgh podcast and the Jedburgh community that we're building is to create impact. That means we have to find what resonates with us. It might not be every episode, but you have to figure out what challenges do we face. What's our vision? What's our goals? Where are we today? Do we want to become a better athlete? Do we want to become more knowledgeable about what's going on in the world today? Do we want to build great leaders within our organization? Or do we need to take some time for ourselves to reflect, to think about how we approach things, to internalize, to become the best versions of ourselves? Our job as leaders is to think every day, all day, about how we make ourselves and our organizations better in whatever we do. That's what we're doing on the Jedburgh podcast. I don't know where 2023 is going to take us, but what I can tell you is we've come a long way in 2 years. We started at 0, and in 2022, Spotify ranked us top 5% most globally shared and top 10% most followers. Thank you to all of our listeners, our guests, our sponsors, our partners, and especially our Jedburgh podcast team, who without them and their contributions every single day, none of this would be possible. We'll see you in 2023.